Hey, thanks for watching 4Color Commentary. I'm Mark Allen, and this video I'm going to be playing some catch-up. It's been a long time since I've done a comic haul video. Last week told you about a few comics I was reading, a few that I'd picked up here and there. But we also did a segment at Comic Empire of Tulsa with Mike and Kenny. Before that, told you about a few comic series I was reading and a few things I picked up, but also did a comic pressing video. This time, it's just comic haul because I've gained quite a few comics in the last several weeks. Most of them dollar deals, you know me, and wanted to share those because we all like those comic haul videos where people find great deals. All right, now the first one is E-Man, Charlton Comics, Bronze Age, 1970s, Charlton Comics E-Man number 6. Now, this is actually the only copy of E-Man that, or the only issue of E-Man I own, but I own 3 copies. Why is that? Well, because this is the first appearance of John Byrne's Rog 2000, his robot character they actually created for a college publication when he was in college, and so it also he also appeared in the Charlton fanzine back in the day, but this is his first appearance here, I believe. That's what I've always understood anyway. And you know how those things are. You can believe a first appearance for several years, and then someone, boop, another first appearance pops up. But anyway, or a previous appearance. But anyway, first appearance of Rog 2000, as I understand it. Plus, it's just a beautiful story. I got it for cheap. I love the early Joe Staton art, but especially the early John Byrne art. All right, and then I actually got that from actually got that one from Wizards Asylum in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Astonishing Tales number 5. With Ka-Zar and Dr. Doom. Now, I've been trying to acquire all of these Astonishing Tales, the first few issues, because of the Ka-Zar story, which has early art by Barry Windsor Smith. Before he had the Windsor in the middle of his name, it was just Barry Smith. But it's beautiful art. And then love the Doom Red Skull story going throughout as they wage war against each other. That was drawn by George Tuscan. And so just some great early Marvel Silver Age goodness there. And then Chamber of Darkness number 6. This one has actually a story that was created for this book, which is generally the Bronze Age and the late Silver Age Marvel horror books were reprints from the Golden Age, as you know. But this one had an early Sal Buscema story in it. Sal Buscema drew the story in it. Don't remember the writer. I apologize, but I'm an art-driven guy. What can I say? And but this one also has an early Steve Ditko from the Golden Age story in there, and just a neat read there. Lots of fun. And then Marvel Collector's Item Classics number 14. Again, these were not dollar books, but got good deals on them. Marvel Collector's Item Classics number 14. This reprints the first appearance of the Molecule Man and Fantastic Four. Reprints the first appearance of the Unicorn and Iron Man. And has the reprint of Steve Ditko's story, Doctor Strange versus Loki, and just some really great, and also a partial reprint of the Incredible Hulk number 1, which was kind of disappointing. When I picked it up, looked through it, thought about buying it. Actually got this at the Comic Empire half price sale a few weeks ago. Thought, wow, this is going to be the first reprint, barring foreign reprints, but the first reprint of the Incredible Hulk number 1. But it's not the whole story, unfortunately. But I bought it anyway because it's beautiful cover, beautiful. The spine is really, the square bound spine is intact and looks really nice. And so anyway, it was worth it. Bought that, enjoyed that. And then Adventures into Fear number 12. I just acquire this stuff piecemeal. These are all runs I'm trying to put together, but I acquire them as I can. But Adventures into Fear with the Man-Thing number 12. Adventures into Fear number 12. It's early Jim Starlin art there, and inside, and just really great, wonderful stuff. You talk about these artists that we grew up with, that we grew up loving their work, like John Byrne, like Jim Starlin, like Barry Smith, and others. It's really so interesting to see their work in the day as opposed to now. They still do great work, but you could throw Perez in there, which I'm about to talk about George Perez here in a moment. But you can throw George Perez in there too. But any artist that you grew up with. But it's still fun to see their early art because I perceive that was when they were hungry and they were really working hard. And maybe they were skipping meals and skipping sleep because they were just so passionate about what they were doing. And I know as a John Byrne fan, later on, early to mid 80s and on, John Byrne began to leave a lot of blank space in his panels. I've just begun last night rereading Alpha Flight, which series I love. But I noticed he stopped doing backgrounds as much, just blank space in there, no background, and just, I'm not going to even say lazy because I've never worked as a comic book artist. I don't know the workload. I wouldn't do that to anybody. I'm not going to say they're lazy. They're still cranking out work, good work. And but I just noticed the change when they're first coming into the business. They're hungry and they're passionate and they're just seems like you can see that translate into their work. But anyway, that's why I like the early work of John Byrne, even the Charlton work and stuff like that. And Jim Starlin and all that. Now, speaking of George Perez, here's a George Perez alternate cover on Infinite Crisis #5. Now, the reason why I picked this up is because this is the first appearance of the new Blue Beetle. I think his name is Jamie Reyes. Picked it up because it was basically cover price, $3.99 on there. Picked that up at Vintage Stock in Joplin. And I thought, why not? It's a first appearance. People are going nuts for first appearances these days. Yes, it's a little bit of speculation. I understand that, but it's also a George Perez alternate cover, which I'm into alternate covers. Not now, I don't buy every alternate cover these days. But, things like this, yes, I will. And it's got that first appearance in there and everything. So there's that. Now, the rest of this, well, these next two items are going to be reference items. These are reference items. I like reference items that just kind of give a background and give you some information on books. Both of these I'd never seen before. And so the first one is a 1993 Character Comic Index Volume 1. And it's a continuity, Dark Horse, Image, Marvel, and Valiant. No DC. But it says official industry first magazine. But anyway, there it is. 1993 Character Comic Index Volume 1. I don't know if they did any more volumes, but there's a kind of a nice, montage of characters on the front there and on the back as well. I don't know who drew this, but it's not bad. Looks like Comac or Comarch. There's a name spelled with a K, Comarch, signed in there. But anyway, not bad. Not a bad looking book. And again, just kind of a neat comic index for 1993. And then this next one is magazine size with a nice stiff cardstock cover on it, but the X-Men file, Sons of X-Men. And this is just kind of a neat retelling, if you will, of the history of the X-Men. And, I understand, I'd never heard of these, but I understand that there's also some Alpha Flight information in there, but I understand that they did a few of these. When I first got this, and I shared it on Facebook, and some of the people there said that they did a few of these. And actually, the company that did these, Comics File Magazine Spotlight, Comics File Magazine series, edited by Hal Schuster. So anyway, kind of a neat reference piece there on the X-Men, and that was just kind of neat to pick up. Now, dollar comics. You know me and dollar comics. I like, if you love dollar comics, finding a great deal on the dollar box, and it takes digging to do that, but wonderful stuff. But I actually found the entire miniseries of Captain America White. Captain America White. Okay, by Tim Sale art, by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. But all 5 issues of Captain America White for $1 a piece. Not doing this well. But just wonderful stuff. The Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale series were just always entertaining and always neat to read, and beautifully drawn, beautifully written, wonderfully written. And just so anyway, that was a neat dollar box find. I mean, $5. $5, where that first issue, that first issue itself retailed for $4.99. So you gotta love dollar box deals. Now today, I was in Joplin just today, and today being this video won't go out today, but today being Thursday, July 25th. But I was Hurley's Heroes in Joplin, and picked up some Green Lanterns from the 90s. These are the Kyle Rayner Green Lanterns. I picked up issues 51 through 55, and just in really nice shape, a dollar each. Just a really neat. This was Kyle just cutting his teeth, if you will, getting to know the ring and interacting with some really dangerous. I mean, he fights Mongol you know, and his second issue there, Mongul, and then after Mongul going up against Major Force, and even up against Sentinel, who was the first Green Lantern, the original Green Lantern, if you will. Scott, I forget his name. Scott, something Scott. I'm not a, hey look, I'm a Marvel guy. I'm not a DC guy for the most part, but especially not Golden Age DC. I think of it here in a minute, and some of you out there are screaming the name at me. But then I skipped all the way through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and to 90, 98, and 99, Future Shock, parts 1 and 2, because they led up to issue 100, which I got. Now this was one of those things that I like the alternate covers, and for $1 a piece, you can't go wrong. I got the cover with Hal and Kyle both. Got the cover with Hal, and got the cover with Kyle, and so you know all of them just great shape, especially even after I get through handling them. And then Emerald Knights, the run of Emerald Knights, issue 101 through 106, where Hal Jordan comes back. I won't tell you how. This is you know, but Hal Jordan, a younger Hal Jordan, comes back. I won't give the story away for you. You've already figured out part of it, I'm sure, if you didn't know it already. But he comes back. He enjoys some adventures with the son of Green Arrow at the time, or the son of the original Green Arrow, and he also meets Parallax, his older self. And so just a great story, and for $1 a piece, can't beat it. All right, so those were in the dollar box. Found something else in the dollar box today. This is a first. This was the Incredible Hulks, number 620, the first appearance of the Green Door. Now, the Green Door has been made a little more well known with the current run of Immortal Hulk, but this is the first appearance of the Green Door. Found that for $1, and you can't beat it. Look, as far as the speculation goes, look, I even start to feel a little bit cheap myself when I start talking about these things that I bought that are first appearances. But look, I'll explain again as I have before. I will buy stuff to flip, so that I can spend the money I make on that on my hobby, so that I don't have to take it out of a personal checking account. And because as you know, and I know, comic hunting can become expensive, even if you're just searching primarily through the dollar boxes. Thing is, I'm starting to buy more and more new issues again. First time in several years. There's just things that are starting to interest me out there again, and which in a way is good, but in another way, it really taps the pocketbook. So yeah, I'm looking more and more for stuff to flip. To wit, I found a couple in the dollar box just recently. Brightest Day number 14, first print and first appearance of the White Lantern Batman. All right, and for some reason that's kind of semi-hot on eBay. I didn't even know it, but when I saw it, that striking David Finch cover, I thought, well, I'm going to just check eBay, and sure enough, I don't see any evidence that people are actually buying it, but people are asking, you know, $10, $12 for it. You know, so maybe one day, who knows? And then the Mighty Thor number 1, which isn't even the first appearance of the Lady Thor, or I just lost her name as Thor. Thor's girlfriend in the movies. They just announced the movie. The Lady Thor is going to be, you know, hey, you know who I am. This is issue number 1 of the second volume, featuring the female Thor, the Lady Thor, however you want to call her, and I cannot remember her name. Anyway, for some reason that one is also kind of commanding $8 to $10 to $12 on eBay. Got it for $1. Oh my goodness, what is her name? I keep wanting to say Lady Sif, and it's not her. But this is since the Silver Age, the romantic interest of Don Blake, Thor, and there you go. I'm 51. All right. Okay. Some more a dollar fine from the Bronze Age, Midnight Tales, number 9. This is actually I bought it for the cover. You ever buy something for the cover? Well, I do on occasion, and this is actually a cover by the creator of the series, Wayne Howard, which is just a creepy, really just neat cover. You see the giant spider in the back. Wayne Howard also has a story inside, and I like the tone of the cover, the darks and everything. Y'all are gonna finish this video thinking I have Alzheimer's. I still can't remember her name. Anyway, the Ringo Kid number 6 $1 find. from the Silver Age, 15. Actually, that would be probably early Bronze Age. I'm not going to look at the date. I buy these to press for $1. I can tell, to be honest with you, it looks like a Herb Trimpe cover. I don't even know who does the art inside because I thought, okay, this is a pressing candidate. This for $1, a book I can practice pressing. But Ringo Kid with a cool, like I say, looks like Herb Trimpe cover. And then also another Ringo Kid number 8, also with a Herb Trimpe cover. This was perfect for $1 for printing practice because it's got a little bit of water damage. You can feel the warping on it. But it looks like another Herb Trimpe cover, possibly with with John or Marie Severin inking. Just kind of hard to tell, but if you look at that, you older guys that have been in it for a while, you can kind of see probably what I'm talking about. At least the Trimpe. You may be thinking, I don't know what he's talking about with the Severin inking, but who knows? But anyway, dollar books, great. Okay, here's another cheap find. I believe it was $1, but I'm going to say it could have been as much as $2.50. But it's a first appearance. I say it could have been as much as $2.50 because I've recently bought some half-price $5 books. All right. So, but this is a first appearance of Mage. Okay, Matt Wagner's independent character Mage, the hero discovered, which was a great series back in the day. I believe late 80s, early 90s, and I remember reading that originally and just really enjoying that. But great book, great series, great character that I'd love to see optioned for a movie. Not a TV series, not an animated series or an animated movie, but a movie, a live action Mage movie. That would just be fantastic. Now, these next ones, these next 4, a little bit off the wall, but I've always been into the Spire. I always liked the Spire Christian comics from the 70s, and they did a slew of Archies. And every time I think I might have all of them, I can't find. If any of you know a reference, an online reference out there for the Spire Archies, let me know, or the Spire Comics period, because I'd like to find something like that. But every time I think, okay, I must have all the Spire Archies by now, some more pop up. And these are great because they have the Al Hartley work in them. And even the covers are wonderful. But Archie's Love Scene is one that I found today for $1. And found that at Hurley's Heroes in Joplin. And just a great book there, or a great looking book there. Great cover, colorful. And then Archie's Date Book, also an Al Hartley cover, and just in great shape, that book. Colorful. I don't know. I think it's the colors. Comic fans, for one, you have to admit we are drawn by the primary colors. We walk into a comic shop and you see the colors and you see the brightness and the pop. It's just amazing. And it just there's a feeling there. But anyway, this next one is a Christian comic as well, from Barber Christian Comics. I forget when it was published. It would have been the 70s. I'm going to check real fast. Also has an Al Hartley cover. But there was a movie done back in the 70s called The Cross and the Switchblade. And this one is indeed 1972 from the 70s. I believe that the movie was also from the early 70s. But this is an Al Hartley work all the way through. Interior art and cover. And it's Cross and the Switchblade. And this is actually one I'd never seen one in this good a condition. And so it was a no-brainer at $1. Snatched it right up. And it's kind of again, maybe an odd kind of a book, but a rarity. Without a doubt, a rarity. Now, this next one file this under Nobody Cares But Me. Okay? Many of you seen the Cyber Rad number 5 from the 90s, the glow-in-the-dark cover where he's shouting, "I am not a machine." This is one that I'd never seen before. This was the cover B, the unenhanced cover. This is not, I have 2 or 3 of the glow-in-the-dark covers. This is cover B. This is 5B. It does not have the glow-in-the-dark. But, I wanted that just for completeness sake, to get both covers. And that's just me. Nobody cares but me. Lastly, 2 more. There was a series, a short-lived series called The Call, that was put out by Marvel soon after 9/11, and it was about police officers and maybe firemen as well. I think it was mainly about police officers, though. I had the first 3 issues. I don't remember even reading them, but everyone was feeling so patriotic at the time that we just, you had it, you read it, and or you got it anyway. If I read it, I don't remember it. Maybe I did, and it wasn't much to remember. But I found the issue 4, and I'd never seen it before because it seemed to have this guy's super powered on there. This guy's covered in metal, and I didn't think that that the Call was a super powered or a superhero, super villain book. And it just, for $1, I thought, well, I got to check that out. Now I got to read the other 3 and then see what happens in number 4. But that was nothing but morbid curiosity. And so I had to pick that up. Lastly, this is strangely enough, Sam Wilson, Captain America, number 13. I never read the series, never read a single issue. I didn't like the idea of Sam Wilson as Captain America. I just didn't think it fit. Bucky worked. I think, John Walker worked despite being crazy. I think actually the character from, and I can't remember his name, but the character from the Captain America miniseries back in the 90s, the black character, I think he would have worked in it because he was more patriotic. The Falcon just is not a patriotic type hero in my mind. All of that having been said, I bought issue number 13 because it was the Steranko variant. Steranko variant for $1. That was a no-brainer. And to see Steranko do Captain America again, sketch style, just black and white style, just was a no-brainer. And so I picked that up. And anyway, there you go. Jane Foster. Jane Foster. That's who was on that cover of that Thor. That's who the Lady Thor is. That's who's going to be in the movie. Are you excited about Jane Foster as Thor? I mean, are you excited about that at all? I'm excited about a lot of movies that are coming up from Marvel, but that one, I'm having trouble cranking my engine for that one. Anyway, enough said before I get myself in trouble. Hey, thanks for watching. Just a few comic finds, and can't wait to hear about yours. Comment down below, like the video, and subscribe if you haven't. Again, come back, keep watching for videos, and hopefully one of these days I'm going to have my boys back, and Isaiah still wants to talk about the first collection, the first few issues of Batman, the New 52, because we just recently read that ourselves, and so playing catch up there. But anyway, he loved it and want to see if he wants to talk about that some. Anyway, thanks for watching 4 Color Commentary. We'll see you next video.